We're live. It's Tuesday night, broadcasting from Red Books in beautiful Wexford town on Wexford New People's Movement Radio, right across the world. It's the Red Book Show. I'm Wally O'Neill, a disgruntled bookseller, and dear listener, you may not believe this, but just beyond the walls of this bookshop lay what once was a gate to Wexford town, and the old wall that kept the good people safe and the bad people out. But, dear listener, the barbarians have broken through the wall. The gates are down, the wall has come tumbling down, the barbarians are in your living room. And sitting beside me tonight is one of the biggest barbarians of all, the Genghis Khan of haiku performers, if you like, Steve Unikey. How are you, Steve?
Good evening, Wally. Good evening, Wexford. Yeah, I'm fine. We're ready for round 5 here, eh?
Great to have you, Steve.
Yeah.
We're also joined in studio by the man behind Wexford New People's Movement Radio, Tony Bergen. He's watching everything here, making sure Steve doesn't say anything too controversial, making sure I don't fall off my chair here. And our special guest tonight is one of the great up-and-coming poets, not just of Wexford, but I think right across the country. A man with so much creativity. It's literally oozing out of his pores and down along his skin onto his fresh ginger beard. Oren Summers. Great to have you, Oren.
Yeah.
So, Steve, it's been an exciting week for you. This week you opened the new garden in the Arts Centre.
Well, I mean, not single-handedly, but yeah, I was there, and I really enjoyed reading poems there and connecting with the audience. It was a great event, even though the weather was kind of shite. But it got a little bit better toward the end, and I just left the microphone behind and just walked up to the people and just spoke with them, read out of war stories and Farewell to America. Wonderful time.
Brilliant, and there was all sorts of performers there, including some young bands and.
Oh yeah. Rachel Grace was there, and Fran.
Fran Green.
No, not Fran Green. Satter. Yeah.
Oh, Scattergood.
Yes, Fran Scattergood was there.
Great. Yeah, that's brilliant.
And, it was a really good show.
A great addition to the Arts Centre.
Yeah.
So lots happening in book news this week. Steve, will we get to it?
We will get to it. Yep.
Well, book banning is back on the agenda. A recent report revealed that the number of non-fiction books banned in US schools has doubled during the 24 to 25 academic year.
No kidding.
PEN America tracked 6,780 incidents of bans across 23 states. 3,743 unique titles were removed. 1,100 of them were non-fiction, covering topics such as activism, social movements, LGBT concerns, marginalized histories, health and identity.
I think our alternative facts are on the march, Wally, and we got to push back as hard as we can.
Yeah.
For truth and for the real stories and the real facts.
Well, it's scary, Steve. It really is. And we come from a country here which had its troubles with book banning back in the day. Some would argue that some of our greatest writers became great because of censorship in the country. But it's a terrible thing. And America is racked by it at the moment.
Yeah, I guess countries go through different cycles with this. And America is going through like a wretched cycle right now at so many levels.
It sure is. Well, meanwhile, best-selling author Lee Child has come out strongly against book banning in the US and in the UK, calling on people to ridicule, denounce and oppose any form of book censorship. Now, Lee Child, I don't know if you've read much of his stuff, Steve, but he is an extremely popular writer. In a survey of UK libraries, I think it was in 2014, of the top 10 most borrowed books, 8 of them were Lee Child titles. So this is a guy that is read by readers.
That's good to hear that he's making a stand very eloquently.
Absolutely. Lee Child said, "Books and ideas, there should be a completely free market. Every idea should be available for examination and consumption."
Yep, I agree with that. Let the ideas sort of clash. Let people discuss. Come to what Thomas Paine called common sense. You know, I hope that never goes out, because the lights will go out if we lose common sense.
Absolutely. Well, my opinion on book bannings, it's it's something I completely disagree with. If somebody doesn't want to read a book, all they have to do is not open the covers. Trying to stop other people from reading is a crime. It's an absolute crime.
Yeah, it's a
And
huge step backward.
I don't see much difference between people who ban books and remove them from libraries and remove them from schools, and the people who burnt books in Germany in the 1930s and in many other countries. And the old saying, where they burn books, they'll burn people eventually.
Yep, they did that in the Inquisition, and I hope we don't have another one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, a new study has found reading paper books requires less mental energy than reading ebooks. A paper by researchers in the University of Tokyo, published in scientific journal PLOS ONE, concluded that with paper books, you read at your own pace while digesting info as you turn the pages. It seems this actually helps the brain use less energy and improves comprehension.
Yep, and you uses less energy, on the grid too, and
Yeah.
less energy for you. And the other thing is, what you're reading is nobody's business but your own,
Absolutely.
And if you're on a Kindle,
Yeah.
somebody's watching you.
Yeah, and we spoke about this last week. I think I told you a
Yeah.
story that I can pick up a book 3 weeks after starting it, and I'll know where I finished off on that book, and I'll immediately be re-immersed in the story. And I just can't do that with digital books. And people have told me since during the week that that's because you're more inclined to skim when you read on a digital device, or you're not really taking it. But I don't think that's it. I think it's just something different in the way my brain interacts with the words.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And there's nothing that says it has to be an either or. It can be a
Yeah.
both and situation.
Now, the literary world was rocked once again this week by allegations that Jamir Nasir's The Serpent in the Grove, which won the Caribbean region of the 2026 Commonwealth Short Story Prize and was subsequently published in Granta, was heavily authored and assisted by artificial intelligence.
Oh, that's horrible.
Now, it seems the story was filled with AI tells, such as heavy-handed metaphors and the not X but Y sentencing structure. Granta were a little bit upset, to say the least, but they wouldn't admit that they had made a mistake, so they decided, how do we test if this story was made by AI? Let's ask AI. So they ran the story through Claude, which came back with a report suggesting that the story was heavily AI produced. They haven't removed it, but they have put a hold on it at the second.
Okay.
But I mean, it's insane when we now have major literary prizes going to works that may have been 80 to 90% produced by artificial intelligence.
We're sailing toward an unknown country, and we don't know where it's all going to end up.
Yeah. Now, Steve, you are my learned friend, and I know you're one of the most well-read people I know. Have you ever read anything in the romantasy genre?
No,
Are you familiar with the romantasy genre?
not really. I'm familiar with romance novels, and I was familiar with those going back to the 1980s. Sort of like cheap paperback books. But
Yeah.
romantasy, haven't heard of that.
Well, romantasy is a blend of romance and fantasy. It's not something new. It's been around since about the 15th century, and we think of many of those. I mean, even certain retellings of the Grail story, you could technically tie into romance fantasy, but the term romantasy goes back to about 2023-24 when it became a viral sensation on Book Talk and other social media avenues. And it's certainly big. It's very much female led. The authors are often female. The readership seems to be predominantly female, although it doesn't rule out men in any way. But it is huge. It is very, very big. And this week, the UK's first dedicated romantasy bookstore, Bad Girl Books, is opening in Oxford, and they're going to be running a mini summer romantasy festival throughout July and August, featuring 50 authors in the genre. Now that store is opening in Oxford. Imagine they can feature 50 authors who are close enough to be able to feature in that. It just goes to show you how viral this genre has become.
It must be very, very popular now.
Yeah.
Suddenly popular.
Well, it's interesting because before we came on air, Oren was telling me about his favourite romantasy novel. And now, I'm not sure if I understood you correctly, Oren, but you were saying there was a Minotaur and a girl, and the girl lost her job and went to work on the Minotaur farm. Well, we'll get back to that when we're interviewing Oren, maybe. So, now, last week, you remember, we had a competition. We were talking about the mystery surrounding the disappearance of famed mystery writer Agatha Christie. And we put up a lovely prize, a 3-month membership, free membership to the Anti-Jeff Bezos Lonely Hearts Club, if you remember, Steve.
I do remember that, yeah.
A very popular prize, I think, because the Anti-Jeff Bezos Lonely Hearts Club, as people will no doubt know by now, it's not like Tinder or Grindr or any of these apps. No, it's not crude like that, dear listener. It's much more, it's meetings with like-minded people in real-world establishments like libraries and bookshops and certain coffee shops where books are visible. And, it's for people who have a shared beautiful hatred of Jeff Bezos and the Amazon empire. And we got a lot of entries in. And what we asked people to do, I should say, is to come up with a mock title for a book about the disappearance of Agatha Christie. And the winning entry is Ryan Jordan, who came up with this one. Very simple, Cluedo, author edition. And I like that, Ryan. I like that. Our team of international judges were very impressed. So Ryan, congratulations. You have won a 3-month membership to the Anti-Jeff Bezos Lonely Hearts Club. Maybe you'll meet the love of your life, somebody who shares your hatred for Jeff Bezos. So we're going to be coming back after the break. Oh, hang on. We've got a fax report. A fax report has just come in from our roving reporter, Jamie T. Murphy. You all know Jamie. He's out in the field finding the news that the mainstream media don't want you to know about. So I'm going to read this out. Wally, I'm here at the Rotunda where I've been trying to talk to Chief Sergeant Mr. Adon McCuttentug. I asked Mr. McCuttentug why he was doing nixers for private patients when the average Irish citizen has to sell their firstborn child just to see their GP. His reply shocked me. Well, it's like this, sport. My $250,000 a year salary might seem nice, but you try and run 3 houses, 2 mistresses, and 3 illegitimate children on a $250,000 in this economy. It's not easy. To which I replied, all right, calm down, Patrick Flynn. He then sped off in his 2 Series Jag. Golf, kidder, gotta shoot. Full report at the news at 11. Thanks for that, Jamie. The news that the people need to hear. The news they deserve.
Yeah.
So
they hate to hear, they deserve to hear it, they need to hear it. Yeah.
So we're going to have a piece of music now. First piece of music of the night, and it's from the great Wexford singer-songwriter Mick Egan, and this is What Makes a Man.